Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 2 of building your call funnel. And step 2 is all about Calendly. So first thing we need to do is we need to get Calendly. And you need this so that your leads can book a call with you. So they can automatically see what times are available in your calendar and book it in, and then it will go into your calendar automatically with their details, etc. And we can also send automatic reminders out in order to help get them to show up as well. So first of all, let's go set up Calendly. So I'm just going to head over here. So you're just going to want to go to calendly.com, and then we're just going to go get started. Okay, so we're signing up for free, and I'm going to put in my details. So get started. I agree. Tick if you'd like to receive any news or features. And I'm going to actually sign up with Google because I've got a Google account, which means that I would just log in using my Google login. So you can do it without a Google, signing up with Google. You can click here. Actually, I'll show you that way because a lot of you might not want to do the other way. So I'm going to click here. So I create an actual password. So I put my details in. Password. I'm going to click to agree again. And if you would like to receive emails for the news and features, then you can click on that. And then we'll click. Oh, that's just changed. I don't know why that's changed. Let's change that back. And click continue. Okay, so we now need to go verify our email address. So I'm just going to hop over to my email and verify that. So it'll be 1 second. Okay, I've grabbed the link from my email. I'm just going to paste it in there. And then I'm just going to, if I've saved my password, if not, I'm going to have to type it in. No, it did save, so hopefully that would work. Click continue. Okay, this is where you create kind of what your Calendly link would look like. It doesn't matter too much, but you might want to make it look obviously a little bit prettier. You will be restricted as what you can use. Somebody else might be using it. So if I put Laura Weston, it's not available. Somebody else is using it. But I could put, can't have capitals. There we go. So I could put Laura Weston and COA. So yeah, I wouldn't have the random letters and stuff in there like it showed. So just change that slightly. It could be your business name, your name, mixture of both. Then make sure your time zone is set. I'm going to click continue. Okay, so this is where you can connect your calendar, depending on what calendar you use. You'll go through the different instructions. I'm just going to say that I want to connect my Google Calendar. And I'm going to select the Google Calendar I want, and I'm just going to allow. So I'm just approving the permission. So this means that they can, Calendly can look at my availability in Google and say, I said in Calendly I could be available at 2 o'clock, but I actually have something else in there blocking the calendar. It won't show 2 o'clock. So that's why it's really important that you actually connect your calendar up as well. So we're going to click allow. Okay, and this is basically saying what we're going to do is we're going to check for any conflicts with this calendar. So that means that they're going to check to see if I'm already busy at that time slot and whether they can show that time slot availability to someone or not. And this is where they're going to add the event. So you could have different calendars depending on how you set things up, but most of you will just have the one calendar that you need to check for being busy, and then the same calendar they'll add the event in. I'm just going to click continue. I wouldn't worry about figuring out what times are available right now. Just leave it as the default and then click continue. You can worry about that later on. And then personalised experience. What is your day-to-day role at work? So you can put in what is most appropriate for for what you're doing. So in terms of what you're coaching, you might want to do education, or I'm going to do sales and marketing, but you might want to do one of the others. If you're working with entrepreneurs, things like that, you could select that. In reality, it doesn't matter too much. It, like I says, it just gives, they're hoping to give you better tips and stuff depending on what you select here. I'm going to click finish. Okay, so now we've set up our Calendly. Let's just head back over here. So we've set up this is the free account. So what I can do now is let's go to billing. Okay, so at the moment I'm enjoying the Teams trial. Okay, so you get a 14-day free trial when you first sign up. But again, depending on what stage you're at with your business will depend on which one of these you need. I would say the majority of you will be with individual, and individual just means that you're going to be the one taking all the calls, and you haven't got a team of people taking them for you. So I would imagine majority of you will be individual, and then we will need the professional account in order to do the things that we want to do. It's $12 a month if you build yearly. You can select monthly somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know why it's not letting me. Let's have a look. Let's select that. So if I click professional, will it let me go monthly? Yeah, here you go. So monthly is then $15 per seat per month. So what this does is that it gives you, one, you're an individual, but say you did suddenly upgrade and you had somebody who was then going to start taking some of the calls for you. You just need to buy another seat, and then it would be $15 per month. So the individual one does allow you to kind of upgrade to a team account, so there's no need to worry about when you have the growth of your business. You can do that afterwards. So I'm just going to I'll click on monthly there, and then put the details in. So basically, I'm not going to do this right now because it will cancel my 14-day free trial. But this is something that you'll need to make sure. So set a reminder in your calendar on I tend to do it on day 13 because then I don't forget, or if I do forget, I've still got that extra time. And then come here and select. So individual, and then you need the professional account, and it should work out at $15 per month or $12 per month if you pay for the whole year up front. And then I'll just click purchase. But like I say, that will cancel my 14-day free trial. So you're going to have to come back to this video on day 13 of your trial in order to change this. Otherwise, you'll get charged the team amount. So let's just have a quick look which one is team trial. So, I mean, it's still not an awful lot more, but you would get charged $20 a month. Sorry, $40 a month because it's 2 seats automatically. So it is worth making sure that you set that reminder in your calendar. Okay, so for now, let's just go back to home. So we've set it up. I've shown you how to make sure you've got the right account that you need. Once you've had your trial, let's go back to the document. So we've got get in Calendly 2.1, 2.2. is we now need to go through all the settings, creating a booking and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so now that's what we're going to do. All right, so if I come here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you 2 different things. So the first one is if you are an individual, which again, the majority of you will be, then you'll just have your page here. So this is me. This is the link that I set up. That's the bit I changed. And automatically there's a 30-minute meeting in there, which we can either change, delete, or just add a new event. If you are a team, so you're going to have multiple people, then you would need to, so you'd have here create, and then it would need to be like create a team, and then it would provide you with a second option. So this one would be Laura West, and then you would have a second one here, which might say whatever you name it. It could be strategy call, and then you'd have the meeting under there. Okay, so, but the setting up of the actual meeting is exactly this, or the event, sorry, is exactly the same whether it's in an individual page here or a team page, which I'll show you later. I'll log into the work one and I'll show you that. So we're just going to create event. So here you can see this button, create new event type. So I'm just going to click on there. Okay. And then here it's going to be a one-to-one. So click on there. And this is where you name the event. So it's good to name it what you've named your strategy session. So going through all the training, you name that kind of, it could be, you know, heal your soul session, or whatever your HVG is saying it's fixing. It's basically that. Ours is, we've had strategy session, we've used growth plan session, we've used game plan session. It could be work-life balance strategy session or something like that. So I'm just going to call this, I'm just going to go with the generic one, which again I suggest you don't just use this, you have some more copy in there, but for now I'm just going to use the generic one, which is strategy session. Okay, so we're then just going to add the location. So there's lots of different ones you can use. We tend to recommend using Zoom. It doesn't obviously cost. So we're going to click select Zoom, and it will ask you eventually that you will need to integrate your Zoom account in with Calendly, which I will which I'll show you now. So I'm just going to click connect. So the requirements, you have a Zoom account and you're the admin of it. What it does, it will automatically create a Zoom meeting for you at the time of the event, and it will share that with the person who's booked the call. So I'm just going to click connect Zoom. And then I'm just going to sign into my Zoom account if you're not already logged in. And then we're just going to allow all the permissions. Allow this up to use my shared access permissions. Allow. Okay, so that's now all set up. So if I just cancel that out, let's just see if I can refresh this page. No. Okay, soon that will, once I've saved it, it will be fine. You've got descriptions, instructions. I don't tend to put an awful lot in there. If anything, you can put, bring a paper and pencil if you to write down any notes if you need them to do any of that, or if there's any homework or anything you want them to do, you could put that. But I tend to leave most of that to go in the reminders. So often it will just be something very brief there, if anything. And now we're down at the event link. You can change the name of it. Again, you want it really to match what your event name is ideally. So I'm just going to leave that as is. And you can change the colour. I'm just going to leave it as what they've selected as purple. So I'm going to click next. Okay, so we're now on to when can people book. So at the moment, what it's saying is that the date range, so they can book 60 days in advance into the future. So if they went onto your page now, they could book in 2 months' time, essentially, which is obviously not what we want to do. So ideally, we're going to go with 3 calendar days, because that means that over the weekend, if they could still book on a Monday. And then you now set the duration. I'd recommend you put 45 minutes. So it will likely take you a bit longer at the beginning, be more than 45 minutes, but we'll add a buffer in. But if you actually set this to longer, it might put people off the call being too long, if that makes sense. Whereas if it runs over and they're in the moment, it doesn't matter, like they won't see it as too much, if that makes sense. And then this is where you can set your working schedule. So obviously when we set up, we just left it, but when you get to the point where you actually want to set these, this is what you can do. So you can either use your working hours, which basically this is the whole account wide, or you can set custom ones. So I'm just going to set custom ones for this one for now. And I'm going to do, I can just change this, and I'm going to say I'm going to start at 11 AM instead. and I'm going to finish early on the Tuesday, and so on. You can add all that, or you can just go, I don't want to do Friday, and I'm not going to do Tuesday, for example. Once you're happy with that, you can also look at this. You can also look at this at calendar view, so you can see here. So this in white means this is what they can book at the moment. Because we're on Monday, it means that they can book now and they can book in the future. Say you needed to add a certain time. For example, you might be like, oh, I normally have a meeting Tuesday morning, but I now no longer have that meeting, so I'll open my calendar up to take some bookings. You would just click on it and you just click edit date rather than all Tuesdays. And we're going to select the exact date. So the exact would be Tuesday, the 6th. And then I'm just going to say, well, I can actually now do between 9 and 12. And click apply. And then you can see it's only done it to the Tuesday. So that's how you can do that. That's the time set. Make sure, again, you've got the time zone that's correct for you. So that's your time zone. Make sure that's correct. Then this is where you want to add your buffers in. So after the event, to start with, you might well give yourself a 45-minute buffer. What that means is you'll have, with your availability, if someone books in at 9 o'clock, then Calendly will know that they can't book anybody else in until 10:30 in your scheduling. So that's what that does. And the reason I recommend giving yourself more time is because, one, at the beginning it will likely run over, and two, it also gives you some time, potentially some time to kind of reflect on it, decompress before you potentially have some more calls. So I would always give yourself a bigger buffer at the beginning, and this can always be changed once you hone your skills a bit more. Then we've got additional rules for your availability. So this is showing what increments, so you could show only on the hour or every half hour. Because of the settings we've set, it would be, I would say, every half hour they can show the increments. I wouldn't do any lower than half hour because it just gets a bit overwhelming, the amount of times that might come up. And then here we've got scheduling conditions, so they can't schedule within 4 hours. So what that means is it's roughly 10 o'clock now. It means that if someone was to come in and book, they couldn't book for like 12 o'clock. The earliest they'd be able to book would be 2 p.m. Okay, so sometimes people like a little bit more time than that. It's obviously your personal preference. I generally like to have 12 hours notice, so if I've gone to bed, I know that what my calls are in the morning. Make sure you've got automatically detect and show time zones in their time zone. So that means that the availability coming up will just automatically detect their time zone and equate it to yours. And then click next. Okay, brilliant. We've set the settings. Let's have a look. So now we need to add the qualifying questions. So let's go back here. So here you can see here we've got invitee questions. And we've got name, email that you need a standard. And then there might be some qualifying questions that you want to use in order to know whether you are going to cancel the booking or take the booking. Again, at the beginning, the majority of them would say take them, it's really good practice, but as you get busier and hone your skills, again, you'll start being a bit pickier with the applications. So the way you do that is we've got one question here already, so I can just click on that, and I'm going to just change this one for now. So one of the calls might be, are you willing to invest in XYZ problem? And you might want to have, you can have checkboxes, so you could have a yes or no. Make it capital, make it look nicer. Help if I have two different answers, yes and no, and then I'll just bin this one off. And then with the questions, I would tend to make them required. You've just got to remember, when you make all these things required, you will have the odd person drop off. apply. Another one might be, do you commit to showing on the strategy session? Make it required, and you can make it a one line, so they get, what that means is they get to actually write their answer. They might say yes or they might say no, or again you can have like a checkbox instead. You've also got options like, so we can put their phone number in as well, and then but you should have already asked for their phone number, so this probably isn't required, but that's how you can add that. Another one is multiple lines, so what that does is it makes the box bigger, so it kind of implies to the person, I want to know a little bit more than just a simple answer. Then you've got radio buttons, which is similar to the checkboxes. So I can put yes, no, there, make this required, and then click apply. Delete the third option, click apply. So that's how you add them in. If you need some ideas of what kind of qualifying questions, then you can always go to our application that we have. Ours is obviously quite extensive, so you, again, at the beginning you do not need the amount of questions that we use. In fact, we recommend that you probably only have a couple, or a few, just to start with, and then again, as the business progresses and everything, that's when you might add in a few more. And then once we're done with that, we're going to click Save and Close. So we've added in the qualifying questions. Now we're here and we need to set up the reminders. Okay, so if I click here, it's now, it's actually called Workflow. So you can see here notifications and cancellation policy, and we will get to that. But the actual reminders is now called Workflows. So if I click that drop down, and then I'm just going to click on this button, which sends me to Workflows. And this is where I'm going to start building the reminder sequences out. The really cool thing about this is that we can actually send reminders to ourselves, just to make sure that we do show up, or we're like, oh yeah, I've got a call in a few hours, I want to kind of start preparing a little bit more for it, for example. So what we can do is, so we can email a reminder to the invitee, so that's the person who has actually booked it. So I'll put use Workflow. And then what I would recommend is we do 24 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour, and 15 minutes, ideally, because later, and then I'll also add in some reminders for ourselves as well. So I'm just going to name this, and I'm going to name it. And then you select the event type that you want it to link to. So strategy session, click apply. Here you can see 24 hours before event starts. So I want it at 24 hours at the moment. And now this is where I can actually customize the reminder. You can leave a lot of the subject line the same, so they know that it is a reminder. And then I would just customize this a little bit more, put a little bit more of what they're going to get out of the session, if there's any homework, so anything that they need to do before they turn up to the session, things to expect. Again, I'll put a copy of one of the reminders we use, so you can see the sort of information that we would add in there. But I'll just show you how you can add some of these variables here. So say, for example, most of the time we won't need those, the event description and their answers. We don't need that when we're sending the reminder to them. You want the event name so that would be you. So that would have your name there at the time and the date, and then the location would be the Zoom link. So you want to make sure that's in there as well. I would also say make sure you've got this ticked where it says include, cancel, reschedule links. Oh, it's unticked. Just because I would much rather somebody be able to cancel or reschedule an appointment even 15 minutes before the appointment than sit there for 15 minutes because they just haven't bothered showing up because there wasn't an easy way for them to cancel or reschedule. So that's what I would personally leave that in. say you wanted to add any more variables or you deleted location by mistake, you just click on this variables button, and then we're going to scroll down to what it is we want. So let me just check that I've gone past it. There we go, location, and we'll pop that in there. And you can do the same up here. It's the same button, so variables up here, and you can add in whichever you want. And then you click done once you're done. All right. And what you can do is actually send yourself a reminder right now as well. So that all these actions will happen 24 hours before. So I could put an email reminder to invitee and host, which is you. I'm gonna so then I'm gonna add action here. It says do this. I'm gonna send email to host. Click next, and to yourself, you just need the default one. It doesn't need to be customized. Don't worry about that. You might even want to keep the questions and answers in there as well. And then click done. And then once we're happy with that, we're going to click save. And then I'll do copy the same process. So you click new workflow, email reminder to invitee on start with, and then add you as host. So you do exactly the same process. So rewind the video, go through the process again in setting up a 4-hour reminder, 1 hour and 15-minute. I'm just now going to show you that you can actually do a text message as well as a reminder, as an email. And I would do similar timings for your text message, but I would cut out the 4-hour one. I would do 24, 1 hour, 15-minute, and then a 15-minute one. And then click new workflow. And then I'm just going to scroll down to text reminder to invitee. I'm going to use this workflow. So yeah, this is where you need the professional plan. So you might have to upgrade before that 14 days is up. So what I'll have to do is I'll quickly show you in another account what to do with there.
Then what I do is I add a new workflow. And then I add, where are they? A text reminder. So then I use this workflow. And again, you can do this 24 hours before it starts. Click done. And then with the text reminders, I don't tend to personalize them too much because you don't have an awful lot of characters to use. But you can add a little bit in if you want. The main thing is saying hi to them, just telling them that they've got that booked, that call booked, the date, the time, and who it's with. So here where it says see you then, that will be who it's with. And then you can click done. And then again, you can add a text reminder to yourself. And again, you can just, from this, rather than custom, I've just gone down to reminder. And then it's saying hi, and then it will be your name, just a reminder that you've got a meeting with this person, or and it's this call, this date, this time. Click done. And then I'll go text reminder to invitee and host 24 hours. Make sure you select the event, click apply, click save.
And we'll click back. Once we've got it, so you should then have 24, 4, 1 and 15 minutes for emails, and then a 24, 1 and a 15-minute one for text messages. I would also make sure you add text message to yourself as well. Make sure you've got that. Again, just as last minute reminders. And then once we're happy and we've done that, we can just close this window out. And then cancel that. And it will automatically link, because we've selected this strategy session, to this event. Okay. Now let's go to notifications and cancellation policy. So we can send an email calendar invitation or an email invitation. So you need to make sure that you've actually got the connections with your calendar in order to send the calendar invitations. I tend to recommend the calendar invitations because then it can automatically go into their calendar as well. It will kind of show the box without it coloured in until they've potentially said, yes, I'm definitely going to attend. So I like to keep this because we're sending the email reminders. So I tend to stick with the calendar one here. Click on personalise, and again you can actually personalise what goes into the event. So this is the information that will actually show up in your calendar event. So Google, for example, in the kind of description it will have all of this information, and it'll have the Zoom link. So I'll make sure the Zoom link is in there, and then the invitee, if they look in their calendar, will have that Zoom link, as well as obviously in all the emails as well, and even some of the text messages potentially. And then once you're happy, just click save and close. Okay, so we've set up the reminders. We have shown availability. We have set that up actually. So we've actually we jumped ahead a little bit, but we've shown you setting up the availability. Okay, and then you've got the confirmation page. For now, we're just going to display the Calendly confirmation page. As you get further and you're wanting to track a little bit more with your ads, you may well change this, but there is a video in resources that explains exactly what to do. So what that will do is, in Facebook ads, you will be tracking lead. That means when someone gives you their email address, we can also track those that have actually booked a call. So you can also set that up, but again, it's an extra step that's not 100% needed right now. But if you want to do that, there is a video in resources about how to do that. So once we've done that, we'll click save and close. And then we're done. So we've got all of that done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and show you how to get to the code. So now what we need to do is we're now here where it's updating. We now need to embed the code to that calendar into ClickFunnels. So what that will do is it will show our calendar actually on our thank you page. Let's go back to home. Okay, so here's our strategy session. And then what I want to do is I'm going to click on the share button, and then I'm going to click the add to website. We want to then click inline embed. Continue. And again, you can customize the colors of it. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I tend to stick with all the standard stuff. I in fact tend to hide the event details because it can be distracted to add more text. So even if you put the event details, we don't want it shown. We just want them to literally see one thing. And then if you're depending on what country you're in or what country you're marketed to, will depend on whether you hide the cookie banner. And then what I'm going to do is I want to copy the code. I'm going to head over to ClickFunnels. So I now want to go to my funnel. We're going to navigate to the thank you page, so thank you book a call page. And I'm going to click edit page. And then I'm just going to scroll down and you see this custom JavaScript HTML box here. I'm just going to click in that. Open code editor. And this is Ed's one. So what we want to do, we want to delete this off. Get rid of all of that. And then I'm just going to paste in the code that I've got. And then we're going to click save. Okay, so if I now click preview, you can see that it's now loaded. So it's saying book a session, so I'll book it. Oh, I don't have any availability these days, so they click there. Oh, I've got 9 AM. I'm going to click on that, click next. And then that's where all the questions are. So we know that's working, which is good. Let's go back here. So yeah, we know that's all working. That's showing up, so that's setting up Calendly.